Hello and welcome to the Passion Show. My name is Phil and joining me this week is DJ Kyle in the booth over there.
Wagwan.
And this week joining us we have Sam.
Hello.
So in today's episode, we're talking about The Last Jedi.
Again, yeah.
Again. For like the third time.
I don't know how we keep talking about it, but it's just...
This time it's from a place of love.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be like a numbered episode. It's going to be like one of the main show ones rather than like...
So, why don't you give us your general overview of The Last Jedi then? Maybe. Or should we go with your sort of approach to Star Wars first? Because obviously you have Star Wars tattoos on your arm.
Obviously, like many people, like just loved Star Wars so much as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like wore the VHS out of the original trilogy and stuff. Like the prequels as a child because I was a fucking child. I shat my pants and that. And there was like a thing where it was like I was still aware that I like Star Wars, but when like the trailer for the like Force Awakens came out, like it all just kind of came flooding back.
Yeah,
and just
that's how I felt. Like.
Yeah.
That John Williams score, it's like...
Yeah,
so
it was just like the thing, because like I remember when Disney announced it, that they were bought Lucasfilm and they were going to make more films. Like that didn't bring anything back for me. Yeah. Because I was like, it's Disney, I couldn't think. And then J.J. Abrams was announced, and I was like, yeah, that seems like the really obvious choice. Nothing. Yeah. The cast, like when they announced the whole cast and that was amazing, because I knew Oscar Isaac from like loads of stuff. And then the first teaser dropped and I just went mad. I went berserk and just... It was like, I couldn't wait.
I find it hard to take myself back to that frame of mind where I was excited and loving Star Wars, because I was really excited.
Yeah.
I was like buzzing. I couldn't wait for more.
I definitely remember when that first trailer dropped. It
was great.
Like proper goosebump inducing.
I watched it in sixth form when I was like, it must have been when I was like 17 or something like that. Yeah. And I was watching it in like the canteen on my phone, and it's like, as you said, like goosebumps. You just get goosebumps instantly. But anyway, so carry on.
No, I loved Force Awakens. Obviously, it was just like it ticks so many boxes and that. Yeah. A year later, when Rogue One came out, like I remember Force Awakens sat down in the cinema when it said a long time ago in the galaxy far, far away. I started to feel sick. Like it was like again, those feelings keep going on. Rogue One happened, and I felt nothing when that thing came up, and I have this a lot with like big films more than anything. Like when I first watched them, I like it, but then like as soon as it sits with me for a little bit, like cracks started appearing, because I enjoyed Rogue One when I first watched it.
It's once you start to think about it.
Yeah, I think like because I still saw it like 4 times in the cinema, and it wasn't until I saw it with my girlfriend that I realised that this is a poorly made film, because like she's not seen the prequels or anything.
Yeah.
And there's the bit where Bail Organa just walks in and music like kind of kicks in, but they don't talk about him or anything, and I realise she's not seen it. She doesn't know who she is. It's just
it only applies to like a niche audience, like that nostalgic audience. That's especially Rogue One. Like Rogue One is just playing for nostalgia, isn't it? Like all the callbacks
and
to the original
trying
trilogy.
To be a bit more like gritty as well. Like I'll talk more about like that, what my issue with that is mainly as a film, Rogue One. But then again, a year later, Last Jedi came out, and I felt more excitement for that than Rogue One. Like even sat down in the cinema, and I loved that when I watched it. And then immediately after the midnight screening, I was seeing tweets saying, this is awful, this is terrible, this is the worst Star Wars, and I'm like, oh, am I going to hate this in a week? Is this going to be terrible? But no, I saw it 7 times, and I still I love it. I love it to bits. I saw it, and then it wasn't until the triple bill for The Rise of Skywalker where I was watching it again on the big. I watched it again on the big screen, and I realised this is just my favourite Star Wars film now. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much more than Empire Strikes Back now. Like, and I love Empire Strikes Back to bits, but Last Jedi is now my number 1 Star Wars film.
I didn't enjoy it like the first time watching it on the midnight, and then on the triple bill, I realised that it is a good film. Like I spent like 2 years talking shit about it, like the same as everyone else on the internet, and like I still stand by like some of the stuff that I said, but I think it's something to do with like watching it immediately after Force Awakens. Like, it flows really well in a way that I just didn't expect.
And I think the arcs, like for everyone, work really well. Like in a way that like I know people weren't expecting it from people were expecting kind of what Rise of Skywalker ended up being as well. Like like just ticking boxes for you, the viewer, and that. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I just loved it. I loved Finn's arc. Just love all the everything about it.
See, my perspective on The Last Jedi is really weird now because I think we all went to see the triple bill, so
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
all seen them pretty recently. It's quite fresh in our minds, and I hadn't seen The Last Jedi since it came out. I hadn't watched it at all. I'd seen clips and stuff like that, and obviously my opinion on it has been that I just hate it. It's garbage. But so I was watching it, and you know, I didn't hate it as much as I did, but then I watched The Rise of Skywalker, and I just thought
quite a lot of people are saying that now.
it was horrible, and I feel like The Rise of Skywalker wasn't even trying to be good, but I feel like even at least The Last Jedi has something, like it's trying to do
Like,
something.
yeah.
It's trying to
It's making a film and not.
yeah. And Ryan
Star
Johnson's a quite like, you know, he's like an auteur director, isn't
Yeah.
he? He really takes
yeah.
control of his own project. So I kind of appreciate it, and I'm happy to talk about The Last Jedi in a way because, you know, it summons this controversy, and that's fun.
Yeah.
But The Rise of Skywalker is just like nothing. Like,
Yeah, it's good. I'm scared that it is going to be forgotten, and I've been saying this like ever since the triple bill, that like my brain just hasn't felt right since Rise of
Yeah,
Skywalker. Like,
I know what you
just
mean.
like it's like I've been holding in a sneeze or something the entire time. It's just
I don't know
it
if
doesn't feel right.
I don't know if I said this when we talked about it last, but it feels like what Game of Thrones felt like season 8.
I didn't finish. I stopped watching Game of Thrones in season 5.
I should have stopped watching Star Wars at episode
Yeah,
6. But yeah, it felt like that, just being into something for so long and then let down. But I don't really see this trilogy as separate films anymore. I just see it as this one sort of garbage trilogy that has no goals or has no trajectory or anything, because my opinions on each of the films are so different. Like, I loved The Force Awakens, and I was confused by The Last Jedi, and now I hate The Rise of Skywalker. What do you think of The Rise of Skywalker? Especially liking The Last Jedi.
I do enjoy it.
Mhm.
Like, it is fun to watch, but like, it's one of them things as well where it sits with me for more than like 5 minutes, and like the whole start appearing. But like, big thing with me with Star Wars as well is and also why I didn't like Rogue One.
Mhm.
And it always seems to sound like a cop out kind of answer, but like, these were children's films, like made as about good versus evil, and I appreciate that. Like, Rogue One trying to do something different with that, but it's not as smart as it thinks it is.
Yeah,
like,
it
people
tries.
keep saying it's a war film, but it's not really. It's just a gritty like Star Wars film with just kind of it just felt like it was written by a football player or something.
It's made to look like a war film, but like,
Yeah,
it's not,
no, and that's as well.
that.
Like, one of my issues with it, like when my filmmaking brain kicks in, it's like so visually inconsistent because like a few of the scenes are kind of executed like a Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30 kind of style, but then it's just a regular Star Wars space battle at the end, and it's just
confusing,
doesn't excite
isn't
me.
it?
Yeah, it just didn't excite me at all.
So what you were saying then about it tries to be like a complicated war film, doesn't it, Rogue One? And it kind of tries to show like the dark side of the rebellion, because you have Cassian Andor, who was in this since he was 6 years old. But like, the only indication you have of the rebels being like, you know, ill-intended is when he kills that dude at the start, and then he doesn't do anything again from that point on. He's good as gold. He's great. He doesn't even kill Jyn Erso's dad. He could have, and that would have been interesting, you know, because he's been in it since he's 6 years old and all that. But he just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. And like, Jyn Erso's character just goes back and forth on what she wants to do. Like, as soon as her dad dies, which was caused by the rebels, she suddenly wants to be like, oh, we should do this, all we need is hope.
That speech in itself is stupid as well, because they're already part of like an illegal rebellion. I don't know why they wouldn't just risk trying to go for the Empire, like. But, and as well, that's like the way. There's a really good video on this from Lessons on the Screenplay, a YouTube series about kind of Rey versus Jyn Erso as female characters, and Jyn Erso feels very much about like a strong female character, like written by a bloke or something, because she's just there to tick like some box office like numbers or whatever. Just she doesn't really make anything happen, and she goes back like it's like a different scene from a different movie as it goes on. Yeah.
My biggest problem with Rogue One has always been that it didn't sort of get me to be invested in the characters.
Yeah.
Because they have like a large cast, the group of them, you know, the central characters who go to get the Death Star plans. It doesn't bother to give you anything about them to make you care about them. Like, they're just sort of like personalities. They're just like stereotypes almost.
It is again like just trying to like tick every demographic as well. Like with the like getting Donnie Yen in, which is cool.
Yeah, and he's alright.
Yeah, he's alright. Yeah, but it is like they're trying to appeal to like as many markets as they can. Yeah, which is like another whole problem with like just franchise filmmaking in itself, trying to please everyone, and then Rise of Skywalker was trying to please everyone and then please no one. Yeah,
because I think we've said this before as well, but the Rise of Skywalker felt like two films, because it's like a sequel to the Force Awakens, like a direct sequel almost, because it's like JJ's two properties.
Yeah,
and it also feels like a course correction from the Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? Because I assume some of the reasons you like The Last Jedi is because of
how ballsy it was.
Yeah, and some of the story beats it implements.
Yeah, a lot of it. Like, I think J.J. Abrams has failed in other ways that people aren't like mentioning a whole bunch. Like, 'cause I know this was like a controversial thing, but I loved Rose like as a character in The Last Jedi. I really like
that is
was
interesting.
Engaged. I was just so engaged with her character and like and then she's got like a minute of screen time in The Rise of Skywalker and J.J. Abrams gave lines that she could have had to Dominic Monaghan, like just because I think he was mates with J.J. Abrams, and
it's disappointing, especially for that actress. Like you must think about it's like a Jake Lloyd all over again, isn't it?
I mentioned like in an episode that we haven't got up yet, where we spoke about The Rise of Skywalker, like that it's racist to do that. Like she's like the first like big Asian representation in the film,
just
to like give her like a minute and a half.
And she doesn't go on the big adventure because reasons.
Because Leia needs her there. Does Leia know who you are?
No, and there was obviously like there was bits I like, because what I do like about The Rise of Skywalker is that it's still at its core level about like good versus evil, and then she has like Rey does have the moments of like having like when she refuses to strike down Palpatine. It's like, oh, and that's a whole other argument in itself.
And he's
I'm going like every single argument I've got is just flooding into my brain.
That's
at
what
once,
I've been like.
Yeah.
That's what I've been like the past like month. I've just been like constantly arguing with myself about this stupid franchise.
Yeah, again like that's what I love, because I heard like on its initial release, Return of the Jedi was kind of met with a mixed reaction.
Yeah.
But I still think like arc-wise as well, like Luke refuses to strike down Emperor Palpatine as well, like choosing the non-violent option, and as a children's film, that's really great.
Yeah, it's a good.
And then it's the same kind of thing as well with Rise of Skywalker, similar sort of ending, but yeah, it was just J.J. Abrams was trying to please too many people, and Rey being a Palpatine is, I think, just terrible. Is just
it's horrible, isn't
awful. Like, because what was like in the midnight screening? What was wrecking my head more? I was like, when did Palpatine?
When did he fuck?
When did they have sex? Like,
and then it must be like around the prequels or something.
Yeah,
because,
like 80.
Oh, he's
and
horrible.
Because like no, it works better because Last Jedi saying appearance as nobody works so much better for her character at that thing, because it's like you need to like. Your power comes from you and no one else. You don't like fit with anyone else. And then J.J. Abrams just
completely
I think because he was the right choice for Force Awakens. Yeah. And it worked so well to start the story, but to finish it, and it's like saying this is going to wrap up 9 films was just a big mistake. You should just be wrapping up the 2 films that came before, because the other films are already wrapped up and that. And he just. Yeah, because he knows that like Rey being related to someone is going to please, like the core kind of fan base who like watch every prequel thing or watch every like expanded universe novel or read them.
I don't think the concept of her being related to someone is like that awful, especially with how it's set up. But it's just, even if it was a descendant of Palpatine, it can be done well. But it's just the fact that they make an effort to put the mystery out there, then they break down that mystery by saying it's no one, and then build it back up, and just like contradicting itself, like one movie at a time. Literally, they're at war with each other. These films, they just don't agree.
If any of those mysteries were paid off, like either Snoke or Rey's parents, like I think, like all the fan theories, like Jar Jar Binks or Mace Windu, or anything like that, it's all dumb. Like there's no way you can possibly do it. I don't think.
That's why, like, I very rarely theorize with people about like any kind of popular film, because I just rather go and watch the film and enjoy it for what it is. Like I am a bit like a huge Star Wars fan, but like the expanded universe stuff has never really like captured me in the same way. It has interested me a bit, but like I've never religiously watched them. I've been recommended like Rebels and Clone Wars loads, but I've watched a bit of them, but it doesn't really do it for me.
I just don't fancy it as well.
Yeah, it is like, I know I was saying before it's a children's franchise, but like that's on a whole other level. There it's like a bit too soft, really.
Like
but
it's on Nickelodeon.
I remember thinking when I was watching Rise of Skywalker as well, that first scene with Kylo Ren just slaughtering people was really cool. And he picks up the Wayfinder thing, and I was thinking that looks so expanded universe like, and I think I was like, there was someone like one of my old mates. It was just kind of flashed in my head, and I was like, he'll like this. He didn't like The Last Jedi, but he likes expanded universe stuff, and he'll like this. And he said, yeah, he enjoyed Rise of Skywalker more than Last Jedi because of those extra little bits. But
so, The Last Jedi, we brushed over this. It's your favourite Star Wars film?
Yeah.
Why?
It was watching it again, like on like in IMAX and that, like just the way it's executed. Like it's not just ballsy with its choices, but ballsy with its like filmmaking as well. Like I just love the excitement of that very first scene, the bombing run. Like it's just like filmmaking wise, just I reckon executed so perfectly and just so like the drama, like the melodrama and stuff. It's just it's wild,
because I don't think like Rian Johnson's a bad filmmaker. I think he's good, and I think he does really good things in that film. And I'd say like The Last Jedi is one of the best looking Star Wars films. It's why I'm okay with like debating about it, because there are things that I like, and I want to like it. I remember coming out of it at midnight, and I was with my mate Sean, and we were just sort of in silence, and we were like, did you like that? What happened? And we were like, I don't think I like that. And have I told this on the podcast?
No, I don't think.
We were in the Printworks. I can say that, can't I?
Yeah.
We were in a cinema, obviously, and we came out, and there was like a security guard, like a bouncer there, and he was like, "Oh, you right, lad? You just seen Star Wars? Was it good?" And we were like, "No, no, I don't think it was."
My main issue with it was like Luke throwing the lightsaber. I went off on that like the last Star Wars episode, and like that's because like at the midnight showing everyone was laughing at that scene. It was a payoff. But when I went to the triple bill, we were in like an empty screen and nobody laughed. And it had a different impact.
I remember you telling me about that. Like you said, you hated how it played off as a joke. But like I didn't think it was a joke. I just think the conventions that it uses. Like the build up of music, the cut to silence in the throw, people just associate that with comedy, like that cut to silence, when like really when you look at the context of it, it is like a kind of tragic moment. And again, I don't like to me more than anything, J.J. Abrams seems like more at war with himself than The Last Jedi, because that's why I like The Last Jedi so much. I felt like it was the natural kind of evolution of it, of where Force Awakens led on, because why would Luke go hide in an island if he was just immediately going to come back without any conflict?
I think Luke is great in The Last Jedi. Like I think him throwing the lightsaber is done a bit silly, and like the green tea milk.
That was amazing.
It's a bit questionable.
That's another ballsy move that I just love.
A particular favourite bit that I forgot about, but I saw again at the triple bill, was where he catches a big fish. Carrying the big fish. It's so great.
It's so great. It is just
the big fish. But yeah, I think Luke's story's done well.
Yeah,
and I like Kylo Ren as well. I think he's
probably the standout of the entire new trilogy.
Throughout the whole trilogy, I think he's great.
I do love him. Yeah, and The Last Jedi as well. Like everyone's arcs with like continuing on from Force Awakens, like Finn not like still being hesitant to fight for the Resistance, because he just like when he does fight in the Force Awakens, when he fights Kylo Ren, it's for Rey. When he goes to Starkiller Base, it's for Rey. It makes sense to me that he'd continue that kind of thing, that he just wants to be with Rey in like some sense that like he wants to protect her.
Yeah.
And then he's introduced to a whole other world because he was born as a stormtrooper, seeing like Cantina Bite as well. Like he's seeing all different sides of the galaxy now, and he's like becoming his own person. And then his scene with Phasma, I think that was the moment I realized when I was watching it again that like this is my favorite Star Wars film. Like that fight with Phasma, and he fucking slaps her, and like she falls down, like she calls him scum, and then he was like rebel scum, and I was like, yeah, I love it so much. Yeah, I really love it.
It's good.
Yeah,
I've never heard anyone with this opinion on The Last Jedi. It's fun to hear. Like it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know there are people that love it. I've just never met one.
I've met a fair few.
Louis loved it though.
Yeah. It's just it's hard to come across, isn't it?
It's weird though because it got really great reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I follow, like film people, really love it, but it's like people that call themselves Star Wars people are the ones that don't really like it.
Yeah, I'm not even that big
Jeremy
into.
Johns.
Yeah. I'm not like that big into Star Wars. It sounds like I am because I fucking rant about it every week on the podcast.
I think this probably like this new trilogy was going to make up a lot of people's minds whether like the extent of their Star Wars love. Yeah, because I remember when Force Awakens came out, all of a sudden there was this whole prequel fan base that just came out of nothing. Because I was just always everyone hated the prequels, but now it's got its own fans and that.
Yeah, well,
because of the memes, isn't it?
Yeah, the memes and that. Yeah.
Well, I think like we need time as well because the opinions we have on this new trilogy and this new Disney Star Wars, they're not like set in stone and they will change. And
yeah, they are very fresh. And like I think the thing that's thinking like what could change my opinion in the future if I have a child and then they watch it, they're not going to be thinking about like the behind the scenes stuff. They're just going to enjoy these kind of space films hopefully and see what like that, because that's who Star Wars is made for. Yeah, that's who it's made for. Yeah.
If weird question, but if you did have a young person and you were showing them Star Wars, what order would you show them in?
I'd do original trilogy, and then the sequel trilogy, and
no prequel.
Maybe I think I'll leave that to the end because like George Lucas says he wants you to watch it from prequels onwards. But like watching the prequel, if you watch the prequels first, not knowing a single thing about Star Wars.
It's weird.
The I am your father moment just won't work in the same way that it did for me like way back in the day. But yeah,
to be fair, that doesn't work for a lot of people because it's so well known in it. It's good that you got that experience.
And I'd just be like, we'll watch the spin-offs whenever or whatever. It'll just be like,
if I have a prediction for what people are going to think of these Star Wars films in the future, I think Solo is genuinely people are going to like that more.
Do you reckon?
More, you know?
Because I quite liked it when I first watched it, but I think as well, like in the aftermath of Rise of Skywalker, I kind of just lost my desire to kind of watch it because I did end up buying it on Blu-ray. It's still the only one of these new Star Wars films that I only got to see in the cinema once.
I
think it just came and went so quickly. But but no, it like. This is the directors of that got fired. The original director of Rise of Skywalker got fired as well, and I was saying like I don't want him near Star Wars. And then when J.J. Abrams got announced again, I was like, yes, finally. But I just in this position now, like in retrospect, I want to see his version.
Yeah.
Like,
well, what do you think of the idea that if Rian Johnson had taken over from the Rise of Skywalker, do you think that would have been a more interesting film?
Yeah.
I think
completely.
it would have been
because he would have.
I think I would have been annoyed when it got announced, but I would like to see his vision followed through of what he planned it to be, because the right answer was make Kylo Ren the big villain. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then have that conflict of those two.
I was still like seeing the big like I could see him going through the redemption arc in the end, because like again like just rambling on like the good versus evil like thing of Star Wars. Like if he did have a redemption thing, but it was like behind the scenes, which they ended up doing. I still like that as well. Yeah, like everyone's still going to remember Kylo Ren as a villain. Yeah, but then he was a hero. Like
I don't buy his redemption. You know?
Do you not?
He killed his dad.
Yeah.
But he has that little conversation with it. I thought that scene
that was
Han
genuinely
Solo was
the
good.
most surprising moment of the entire
film. I didn't
expect like Harrison Ford. I thought Harrison Ford only signed on for Force Awakens so he could die and wouldn't have to.
How much did he get paid for that?
I reckon I think it was like 20 million for Force Awakens.
Probably about the same for that one scene.
I did expect it, you know, and Joe, why? It was because like in the trailers before the film started, there was this trailer for this film with Harrison Ford coming out with like this
Oh, the dog,
CGI dog, and I was like, his integrity is like so low to be in this film. He's gotta be in this. He's gotta be in Star Wars, and he was.
Yeah, because he's not bothered. He just wants money, doesn't he?
It didn't surprise me because that trailer like spoiled it for me basically.
But I liked him. I like that scene.
No,
I thought
that's a really great scene. Yeah, I do like it. And I would like to mention, I've still only watched the first episode, but The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen through memes and that, I really like what it's doing, because the first episode I watched, I wasn't vibing with it because I was getting like Rogue One flashbacks, because I was like, it's gonna be the gritty Star Wars show that like teenage boys want.
Yeah.
And I wasn't vibing with it. Like when he cut a guy in half in the door, I was like, it's cool, but it's not what I want from a Star Wars. Then Baby Yoda in the final moments. I love how they build it as this gritty Star Wars bounty hunter show, and it's him looking after a baby the entire series. I'm a big fan of that.
It's like it sets it up to be that show that you didn't want, and then it gives you this new concept that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
I'm like you, I've only seen the first episode, and I can't remember it very well at this point. It was ages ago.
This feels like half an hour or something. It's literally him just
walking about.
It's literally him.
When I say to people, like when I talk to people about it, I say it's really boring. It's really boring, but stick with it because the end's good. Because the end is good. There's a good droid played by Taika Waititi.
Oh yeah,
to spoil things.
Another thing as well. Spoilers. I was really glad they shot him in the last minute, because.
Was it IG-88?
What?
Was it IG-88?
Is that who he's playing?
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's the same kind of model. I don't know if it's the same one, but like. I feel like every one of these Star Wars films, especially the spin-offs, have some comedian playing a droid.
Yeah.
And it's just I just getting tired of it. And like obviously Taika Waititi is like the biggest person on the planet now, so including him, they'll be like, yeah, let's put him as a droid, and then killed him as well, like just killing him off. It shattered my expectations for what the Mandalorian was going to be.
It shows the stakes and like what can happen in this part of the universe, this bounty hunter part.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to what I was just saying before we were on a little tangent, I think Solo will just get better and better, because I think because of the mess that is the sequel trilogy, I think people will enjoy separate stories more again. I think Solo is better than Rogue One. I think it's the best example of that.
I think that as well, but like I just, as it more sits for me, like Solo just for me has a lack of imagination with it. Like firing a director and getting someone who's very safe but stick to the script, because Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Empire, obviously wrote Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, he's very one trick, he's very one note in that, and it was the same kind of thing. Like when I was watching Solo, I was like, this is exactly what I expected it to be. I had fun watching it. I think I watched it one more time at home when it came out, but
I think the idea that it's like you take Star Wars, so the other way, like Marvel, they have the superhero genre locked down, but then they use other genres to complement it. So you have like space operas, then you have like spy espionages. I think you can do that with Star Wars. I think you can say this is a heist film, and there's a train heist in it, and there's also like. I
like that in Solo. I like the whole train heist thing. That was cool. Like the fact that there's a train in the Star Wars world when they've got flying cars and stuff.
And I think we should just follow that trend and have Star Wars comedies and Star Wars, westerns. I know we've got that. It's kind of a western, isn't it?
There was going to be. It was like a cancelled animated show or something, like some Star Wars comedy animated thing. It was it's one of these really famous failed projects, and everyone looks.
Is it that weird animated one?
Yeah,
I know this.
Kyle in the booth can check it out.
Han Solo's got a big chin in it or something. It's just
Star Wars Detours.
Yeah, no, that was the one, and I think they got someone from Family Guy to
Seth Green.
Oh no, Seth Green. Yeah, they got him. I think they actually made a few episodes, but they were never released.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was gonna have Anthony Daniels and
of course, he was gonna be in it.
Yeah, I think he's the only. No, Billy D. Williams and Weird Al Yankovic and Seth MacFarlane.
Release the episodes.
I've got a job now.
Book this room out instead of that other one.
Yeah, we had a bit of a disaster when it came to recording the podcast today. Should we tell about that?
Oh, it was mad.
Oh, it was so awkward.
we book out a room to do it, and someone just wandered in, and they said they'd booked it for the same time. So we just left out of awkwardness.
But no, we've got this pretty cool.
Well, yeah, we're in a fancy radio studio. We've got Kyle in the booth.
Jamie from fucking Jerome.
Yeah, he's sitting on the other side of a bit of glass. I took a picture of it because the first time I saw him, I just couldn't stop laughing. I just thought it was great. Look at him.
Nice little window here.
But yeah, to wrap it up, Sam's got a podcast that you're releasing now.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing. It's called Scousers Film Podcast because I couldn't think of anything else to call it.
I like the name.
Yeah. It was originally gonna start as a blog post, but like I can't write. It would just be too rambling. Like,
that stopped you in your tracks.
Yeah. And it just I want to. Obviously, my main pursuit is filmmaking, but like time and money just isn't on my side with that one.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd talk about film more in my spare time and that as a way to keep.
So is it just you with like by yourself, or you got like a guest? Or
first episode is going to be just me,
kind
of explaining the whole show and that, and then I'm going to bring on a different guest each time. I'm gonna ask the guest to pick 3 films that mean a lot to them, and then like with each film, like another film to go with that, as like that would make like for a good double bill.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I got this thing as well. Like, have you got the Mubi app?
No, what is it?
It's like it's a streaming service. This is not an ad.
I don't know if I have to say that. No ads involved.
It's a streaming service for like independent and art house films, where it's like a film's on there for 30 days and it's like one in, one out.
Oh, okay.
And you get one as well where there's a hand-picked film every week, and ever to participate in cinema, usually a view, you'll get a free ticket for that film.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm going to one today, a Fellini one, like Italian film from the 60s, and then next week it's Uncut Gems.
Oh wow!
And so
I want to see that.
I want to try and like do a weekly review of them.
Okay.
Because they're usually like more obscure films.
Yeah. So where can people catch this? Where are they gonna?
It's gonna go on YouTube, and gonna try and figure out how to work Spotify and try and put it on that. Yeah.
We're slowly thinking about that, aren't we?
I think I might do it today.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's easier for me anyway. Like when I listen to a podcast, I want to like have it. I don't want to like just leave YouTube on or whatever. I'll have it on walking about on Spotify. Or something.
Well, that's the goal, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds great. Like I think we'd be happy to come on.
Oh yeah,
at
absolutely.
Any point.
Yeah.
So have you got any last thoughts on Star Wars you want to get off your chest?
This is the most uncertain time now.
It
like in the
definitely
post Rise of
is.
Skywalker, I hope Ryan Johnson can still do his
trilogy.
original trilogy. But I heard he's going to do a Knives Out sequel as well.
Yeah.
So
I still need to
I
see
want to
Knives
see
Out.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, because you haven't seen it, I won't explain it. But there's like some really good stuff in relation to Star Wars reaction. Like that's like written underneath like of Knives Out. But if you watch that, it's.
Wait, what?
I don't want to spoil it for you.
I'm going to stand out the room. I just won't be able to listen to it back, so it's in a bit.
Wait, is this legit happening?
Okay.
Okay. Phil's left the room.
Okay. Can you hear?
Yeah, we'll let you back in.
All right. So the whole like when the plot kicks in and Knives Out, this Ana de Armas character, like she's been left all the money in the will, and then everyone's kicking off that she's come from nothing and that. And it's like it's kind of what he was gonna do with Rey, and like I read this as like a post the other day, and I was like, oh my god, that's actually so genius. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I love Ryan Johnson even more now. Yeah.
That,
Okay. Phil.
I'll go get it. Phil. I'll keep in like a shouting after you in the podcast.
So yeah, at the end of Knives Out, they just got lightsabers out and just start fucking.
I'm back.
I'm back, hello. No spoilers, spoiler-free zone.
But yeah, I just want good Star Wars stories
So do
for
I.
the future. Yeah,
I'm excited for Ryan Johnson's trilogy. I would like to see a trilogy that is just his, and
I think I remember saying initially he's definitely going to direct the first one and then probably oversee. And I think maybe people say the lack of plan for this trilogy was a mistake. So maybe they're going to fix on that. Maybe he's going to oversee the 2 films after that. But
it literally just needed like one executive producer. They needed their Kevin Feige, didn't they, to sort of direct.
I just think J.J. Abrams needed to chill out in the last one. Like that was all. Like I'm not a fan of these like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything. And, people say it works because they had a plan, but I reckon there was just so many mediocre films in that. Like having a plan kind of failed for it as well.
Yeah, I can understand because it bogs it down a bit, doesn't it?
Everything just kind of has very similar rhythm to it, like as it goes on, and it's just very easy to get bored of it.
Ryan Johnson hasn't got a trilogy. I've just googled.
Oh,
It's been cancelled.
Was this official?
You were right in what you were saying about it's official. There's loads of articles about it.
Has it just happened?
Yes, literally. I should have heard about this.
It's the past month. What you were saying about Knives Out's true. Like, the fact that it's got a sequel. It's like basically.
So he's just doing
any
that.
chances of doing the trilogy? Yeah.
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
Fuck me then.
What is the next Star Wars film? Is there one planned?
I heard that there was one from someone. I don't think she was famous for anything, that she was going to write a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy that was going to be out, because I still think they've got a release date for like 2022 or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like 2022, 2024, 2026 or something like that.
That's a bit too soon for
me.
Give it
like 5 years.
I know, yeah.
It's starting a whole new trilogy.
I've heard the next saga is going to be like in the Old Republic times.
Yeah,
when
I think that's.
400 years old.
Yeah, like I think they should chill with like films for a bit and like focus on whatever like Disney Plus series for a little bit. Like do like hope the Obi-Wan series.
That'd be nice.
Apparently, this whole saga, I think it's going to like synergize with like the movies and the TV shows and the games. They're all going to be in the
I
same
wouldn't mind the universe being like.
frame.
I wouldn't mind the universe being like expanded to be like it is. I haven't read the Legends, Star Wars Legends expanded universe stuff, but it feels like it really fleshes the universe out and like makes it a lot more interesting. So I wouldn't mind that being explored.
Again with the Last Jedi, that's what I liked about like the whole like showing the Canto Bight thing.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Showing that like the class struggles as well in Star Wars. I like the vibe with that.
Kevin Feige's also got a Star Wars.
Oh fuck that.
Aren't we due another spin-off? Weren't we meant to have 3 of each? I thought it was going to be main series
Obi-Wan,
spin-off.
Disney Plus.
There was meant to be a Boba Fett movie, but then that ended up developing into the Mandalorian, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
they
had it was that guy who did Fantastic Four. Before Fantastic Four came out, it was announced that he was.
Josh Trank.
Yeah.
So many people have been fired off Star.
Oh, sorry.
So many people have been fired off Star Wars, like Josh Trank.
Well, no, he did leave.
Oh, did he?
Well, like that was the statement.
I think he might have left with quotation marks, but asked to leave.
I think it was at like D23 or something when Rogue One was coming out. They apparently had like a sizzle reel to show for Boba Fett, like with him gonna be giving a talk, but he just didn't show up. He cancelled in the last minute. I think
he seems like a nightmare to work with. Josh
Trank.
Trank.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. This is like a whole other argument. I don't buy it, and he's supposed to have a film coming out soon with Tom Hardy where he plays Al Capone, and I'm like dead excited for that.
I'll watch it because Chronicle's great.
I still think we'll do a whole other podcast on Fantastic Four, but I think Fantastic Four, the newest one, like has its moments.
Oh really?
Like there's we'll do a whole other episode on that.
There's a little
if you want to, we've got
I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it since the cinema. Like,
I haven't either.
I haven't seen it.
So there's a little little teaser for you. So should we wrap it up there?
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on, Sam.
Cheers, man.
Good to get some interesting perspectives on Star Wars. Have some Star Wars chats.
Yeah.
This is basically, the way we were saying, it's basically a film podcast. It's basically a Star Wars podcast. But yeah, thanks as always to DJ Kyle in the booth for being my co-host.
Thank you.
This is so cute.
If you have any passions yourself that you want us to talk about, feel free to leave them in the comments because we'd be happy to talk about them.
Or hit us up in the DMs if you want to come on the show yourself.
Yeah, if you want to come on the show and talk about Star Wars.
And if you want to come on mine as well.
We'll come on the Scouse Film Podcast.
We'll leave links in our description as soon as
I think it's literally just Scouse Film Podcast on Instagram. Yeah. Like that's going to be my main source of like posting and that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do something on our Instagram and we'll do like a link or something.
Give you a shout out.
Yeah, defo. But all our fans can go over. But yeah, other than that, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Have a good day.
Bye.